Good afternoon, our dear viewers. How are you doing today? I trust your week has been great and wonderful. I welcome you all to our other session today with Asset Debt Recovery. And like you know, every Friday by 2 p.m. is for Asset Debt Recovery. And we are here to always enlighten us with different topics that will be helpful for our growth. Basically, we've been discussing about understanding the concept of financial literacy last week, and there we defined what financial literacy means, and also we talk about the importance of what financial literacy means. Well, like you saw my face last week, but for those of us that are just joining us for the first time, my name is Oluwatayo Yanuru Alajumoke, and today I'll continue my session, my topic on our last topic, understanding the concept of financial literacy. But today we will be discussing on the benefits and the fundamental component of financial literacy. Like I said last week when I defined what financial literacy means, I was like, let me just do a summary of what I said last week. I said financial literacy is a process of exposing ourselves to informations on how to manage money. That's basically what financial literacy means in a summary. You know, when we say financial literacy or somebody being financially literate, that means the person has an understanding on how he or she can manage his finances perfectly. And also, part of what I said last week, I made us to know that being financially literate permits us to prepare ourselves for some financial barriers, which helps to reduce financial troubles and stress. What do I mean by that? Like I said last week, I explained that being financially literate, it gives you the privilege for you to manage yourself against any unforeseen circumstances. Like when you are about to run into debt, you know, you tend to manage your expenses. You tend to know how to structure your spending, budget, and so on like that. So today, like I said, we'll be discussing on the benefits of financial literacy and the fundamental component of financial literacy. And like I said, financial literacy oversees individual accounting, which requires insight of settling on suitable individual budget decisions such as insurance, savings, investments, retirement planning, and so on and so forth. Because when you understand what it means to acquire financial education, you tend to manage and structure yourself on planning ahead. Maybe, okay, you're working towards your retirement. The question is, how do you want to sustain yourself after you are done working and then it's time for you to rest? Where do you want to get your money from? How do you want to keep yourself going? Is it that you'll be depending on people, your children, and likes like that? Also, understanding or having proper financial education helps us to know when to invest, when to plan, and also help you structure your spending business and your spending ways and the likes like that. And also, I said for those who are more knowledgeable about finances and funds, they will be able to have a best answer to various questions on what money management means. You know, as a finance person, a finance administrator, an analyst who understand how to structure inflow and outflow of cash, or not even cash, basically money. You know, they are able to understand more. They will be able to understand what I'm talking about today. And, you know, they are able to also tell you, give you instances of, okay, this is an asset, this is a liability. Let's say, for example, you need a car, you need a house. You know, the difference between a car and a house. One is asset, one is liability. So, being financially educated enough, you are able to differentiate yourself personally without you even depending on someone to tell you, okay, this is the time for you to save money to build a house or for you to buy a car. You know yourself. You know when the time is and you know what to do at that time. So when you are financially educated, you know, you are secured. Now, going to what are the benefits. So, of what benefits is this when you are financially educated? I said it involves the capability to go with better financial choices or decision. Simple. When you are financially educated, you are able to know how to make your decision easy and right. You know, you have that capability to determine how you want to spend, how your money comes in and how your money go out. You have the capability to structure yourself on, okay, this is my budget in a month. Let's say for a month a salary, you know, this is my budget for a month on feeding, this is my budget on a month for transport, clothing, accommodation bills, other daily expenses. Okay, this is the amount I want to save. And then, okay, maybe later you decide, okay, I want to have an investment, I want to secure a property. Because you are financially educated, you know that these are the things you need to do. So you don't end up being like someone who work for like 35 years and then in his 50s is still living in a rented apartment. You don't want to be that kind of person. You should have been able to grow yourself when you understand what when you understand to be a financial literate. You're able to grow yourself to that stage of, okay, at this stage of my age, I should be able to have this, I should be able to have this, which is going to be my comfort zone when I'm in my 50s, 60s, and the likes like that. Okay, secondly, I said, one, have a proper structured spending plan. Because you are financially educated, you know how to spend your money. Not even just money, you know how to structure a spending plan. It's not necessary it has to be what you are earning. It might be maybe something that was given to you. It might even be you structuring, okay, you want to invest. You just don't go into it without not structuring yourself on, okay, this is a time frame you really want to do something. For example, for those people that are doing this monthly contribution, you know that, okay, when you are doing it, you're not collecting your money immediately. Okay, maybe in the next 3 months, 4 months, you know, and you are cutting your expenses to what you are doing. So because you are financially educated, it helps you to know and to have a structured plan. And also, I said it controls individual money and debt management. What do I mean? This gives you the ability to manage your money. At the same time, for those having debts and other expenses, not necessarily it has to be debt, other expenses, you are able to structure and manage both at the same time. You know, some weeks back we discussed about practical ways to manage debt amidst other needs. So you can just go back to our page and then you will see what we discuss about how to manage debt amidst other practical needs. So because you are financially educated, you get the privilege, you have the privilege to know how to manage yourself. At the same time, how to pay other expenses, how to manage other expenses. Also, we said it helps individuals to be more intentional at arriving their financial objective goals. Now, what do I mean by that? What I meant by that is, as an individual, you have a plan to, let's say, in the next 2 years, you want to be an house owner. What is your plan? But because you are educated enough financially, you are able to set a goal. You're able to set a target that, okay, in the next 10 months, this is the amount I want to have in my account. In the next 6 months, this is the amount I want to have in my account. Doing that, you are setting and you are working towards achieving your plan in the next 2 years. But if you are not educated enough, if you don't know how to go about it, then definitely you'll just be as stagnant as water that is on one spot, and which is not going to be helpful, because at that time, in that next 2 years, when your mates, your families, your loved ones are moving ahead, then you tend to be in one spot and then start claiming maybe the economy is bad, this and this, that and that. That shouldn't be a priority for you not to plan ahead, because you were not financially educated. But because you're financially educated, you know how to plan yourself ahead. Also, I said it brings about less financial pressure and stress. Now, because you have that education on how to structure your money, how to structure your finances. There's no need for any financial pressure, because like I asked this somebody close to me that, though it's a funny act, any money she's going to spend in a whole month, she withdraw it at once. And I got a point to ask her that, okay, why do you do that? Are you not scared of maybe being robbed or this? And she was like, if I'm going to bank all the time, I will spend all my money. But once I withdraw what I want to spend in a month, the rest is there as a savings. And truth to be told, when I saw this person's account, I was like, wow, you have this kind of money in your account. It was like, that money, I cannot touch it. I'm saving it because I have a pending project I need to finish up. And because of that, when the time comes for that person to pick up her project, it was easy. There was no stress. It wasn't, he or she wasn't thinking of, okay, I want to go and borrow money from someone, or I'm expecting some loan from someone. No, but because the person has already planned herself ahead, so there was no stress, there was no pressure, despite the fact that there were high increase in price of the goods and the materials that she was going to use to kickstart her project. But still, she was able to do it comfortably because she had already planned, and there was no much pressure. There was no much pressure, no financial pressure, basically, because the money was there. So she was just like dipping her hand into the pocket and then bringing it and spending it. And that's because she was financially educated enough to know that, okay, because I need to avoid having pressure or putting pressure on myself concerning my project, I need to plan ahead. And also, I said, it's like I've said it earlier on, that it helps to widen individual thoughts when making ethical decisions, especially when they want to go for loans and insurance and investment. Being financially educated, you are privileged to sit down and ask, okay, am I really ready to take this risk? For example, you want to invest into all this internet investment, and as a person, you need to sit down and ask, okay, am I ready for the risk? If anything happens, can I take the end result that will come? Am I psychologically fit to manage myself if anything happens? And also, maybe you're going for a loan, you tend to have more knowledge on, okay, the loan I'm going for, this is the interest rate, this is how long I'm going to pay back, this is the amount I'm going to pay back. You've even already structured, you even know how to structure where you want to get that money to pay back. It's not until now when you now get the loan, that's now when you're now thinking of, okay, oh yeah, let me go and I want to borrow the money to start doing a business. A business where you've not even started before. Nor do you want to know maybe it's going to be profitable. Even if it's going to be profitable, you don't know when the profits will start coming in, and then you are taking huge amount of money on loan for a business. You need to ask yourself that, okay, what I want to do, am I really certain about it? But because for someone who is more educated financially, they tend to know, they tend to foresee when it is right for them to pick a loan, or maybe invest, or even maybe they are into insurance, like health insurance, life insurance, and the rest like that. So, not being financially educated is an issue for both grades, age, socioeconomic classes. What do I mean? It affects old and poor, old and rich, young and poor. All grades. It can affect anybody. It's not necessary, even if you say you go to school to study banking and finance or business administration or anything relating to accounting or anything relating to maybe economics and the likes like that. No, it affects anybody. So it's not really based on one sector. We can't say, okay, because this person is a poor man, is not educated enough. There are some people that I know that they didn't go to school, but trust me, they are making that money and they know how to structure their spending, they know how to plan themselves, and they are still doing well, they're taking care of their family and kids. So it's not necessary that you say because you didn't go to school, that's why you didn't acquire that knowledge to be financially educated enough. And also I said, and it has, because of this situation that many people are not really educated enough, it has led so many people to, to go into borrowing. Like, they're not experts in taking loans, such like maybe home loans and all sorts of loans, and at the end of the day they ended themselves into a bad condition of huge amount of debt. They're paying somebody, and then they start running up and down trying to avoid the creditors to see them. And I really want to say a few things to you. If you meet yourself in such situations, that you can get out of it. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the situation. It's just that you need to speak up to someone, walk up to someone who is educated enough and can help you manage your debt and whatsoever situations you find yourself. So going forward, now we want to talk about what are the major components of financial literacy. And the major components of financial literacy varies from budget planning, investments, savings, loans, tax, as well as individual personal management. So now let me start, just giving a short details for us to know what I'm talking about. Now, what do I mean by planning or budget? Okay, I said in planning or budgeting, it's a principal use of money that makes up of a budget plan. Now, which includes your spending, investing, savings or giveaway. Now, what do I mean that short word? What I meant is that budgeting or planning, like the word budgeting, has 4 unique words, and it includes your spending, how you spend your money. It includes your saving, what do you save? It includes what do you invest in, investment, and also it includes of giveaway. Giveaway is very common among youth of nowadays. Once somebody is broke like this, you can just walk to any brother or sister like, sis, now do giveaway for me. So budgeting evolves around those 4 principles. And I also said that making the right equilibrium all through those essential purposes of money permits individuals to be able to assign their income, bringing more financial security and profitability. As a budget created must be able to cover and take care of all existing expenses, bills, debts, while having cash set aside for investment purpose. Now, in a simple logic, it's so simple. When you are doing your budget, there's no way you won't have to plan very well. What do I mean? As a salary earner, you earn maybe 100,000 in a month. It might look, to some people, it might look okay, stupid, that you get a sheet of paper and then you're writing transport, you're writing feeding, you're writing all other allowances, all other necessary bills you need to sort. To some people it might look stupid. To some people, they don't care. Once the money comes in, maybe they just enjoy their life, and at the end of the day, within the second week of the month, they're already borrowing money all around. But as someone who is educated enough, you know that, okay, this is my budget, this is how I want to structure my budget, and this is my plan. And this includes how you want to spend as well as what you want to save, because your budget must cover everything that you need to do at the same time, and you must be able to have some set aside as saving for, let's say, an unforeseen circumstances, or as for investments. Maybe you're planning to invest into real estate. You need a huge sum of money to do that. So you really need to, your budget covers that position whereby it involves planning. You need to plan and structure. And also I talk about saving and investment, and I said being financially literate, an individual must acquire more knowledge on saving, which helps you to know how to guarantee a good speculation on the interest rate, the price, diversification, risk moderation, and records. Now, what do I mean by that? You are about to invest. When you are being knowledgeable on how to spend your money, you know the risk you want to go to. You know the interest you will get at the end of what you are either saving or you are investing in. At the same time, you know the price. Okay, let's say you invest, you put your investment on a real estate and you acquire a huge sum of land, and you give yourself the next 5 years. You might decide, okay, you want to start selling the land. You know the amount you spend purchasing the land. By the time you are selling, you'll be able to know whether you had a high profit or you lost. So because you have been financially educated well enough, you are able to know. And also, I explained further that finding out more knowledge about investment permits individuals to determine and make faster decisions financially, which can bring about additional increase and expand cash inflow. Now, in a simple logic, when you are more knowledgeable, especially on investment, you are able to have a faster decision on, okay, I want to do this. And doing it, you are foreseeing that, okay, once I do this thing, it's going to give me another source of income. It's going to be another source of cash flow for me later in future. And also, okay, I'm now on the third point, which says loan management or borrowing. Now, those are the fundamentals components that are under financial literacy that you need to know. Now, every individual is expected to get cash one way or the other. Either you borrow from families or friends, or you borrow from colleagues at work, or you take bank loans, or even all these money lending platforms. We all at one point in time is in need of emergency cash, emergency funds. And the question is, how do you manage them? How do you manage yourself when you're in that shoe? So now, like I said to guarantee this is done effectively, individuals must have proper understanding of the loan breakdown, structure, its interest rates, its compound interest, its repayment period, and the time value factor. Simple. You are not just jumping into loan because you are in mess or you really need that money immediately. But because you are financially educated enough, you know that, okay, if you borrow 100,000, I'll be paying back the 10,000 every month. That means you are paying it for like a year, like 10 months, basically. And they are still telling you, okay, if you borrow 100,000, you pay back 12,000 naira in a month. Basically, in a simple logic to you, the interest is just going to be like, it's not much. But mind you, they might not tell you 2,000 naira. They might just give you maybe 20%, 15%. Hearing that kind of percentage, you jump at it. And because you jump at it, they believe you know. But because you just felt, okay, you really need to get this money and settle all the things you need to settle, you ended up in that mess. And managing it at the end of the day start becoming a problem. Because when you are able to, maybe at the end of the day you are paying 12,300, in round figure you are paying 13,000, and then you now calculate it for like 10 months, you'll be like, how come did I meet myself into this mess? So because you are not financially educated, you did not sit down to know how the loan was structured, how the loan was put into places, what are the interests, what are the compound interests, what even time factor. If you default in a day, maybe they are adding 700 naira, you didn't take your time to know. But for someone who is educated enough, the person knows that, okay, if I default in a day, is 700 naira addition. Such person, even if such person is going into such thing, he or she is prepared that, okay, I'm going to meet up, I'm not going to default, and the likes like that. So avoiding to be in debt, avoiding to start having a lot of people embarrassing them and the likes like that. And also I said once these conditions are adequately considered, that's what are the conditions I'm talking about: how the loan was structured, the interest, the compound interest, the risk repayment period, and every other point. Once they are put into consideration, it increases individual financial knowledge, which helps to give reasonable rules and regulations to secure loans and decrease long-term financial pressure. Simple. Once you are educated on it, you are able to have more peace, even if you are going into the loan. Sense that you know that, okay, this is the time factor you want to set for yourself, and you will not default, and you work towards paying up, you work towards clearing your debt at the time you plan. And doing it, you have peace. There's nobody calling you to say you're a debtor, you're a fraudster, you're this, you're that. And even, let's say that you are maybe a day or two, you didn't meet up, you are still aware, you are still conscious of the fact that, okay, the interest accumulating, you know about it, and you will pay. And you are not letting it take long. Because when you decided to let it go, have longer days, it keeps increasing. And that keeps, when they keep calling you to tell you, okay, maybe you were owing 10,000 naira on Monday, and by Friday they're telling you are owing 11,000 naira. You've not even paid 10,000. How do you want to pay 11,000? And maybe on Tuesday, following week, they're telling you, sir, your money is 13,000. The pressure keep accumulating. And because you need to avoid such pressure, you need to get yourself seated and go and learn more on how to be financially educated. And also, I talked about tax. Now, and as an individual, having necessary information about various tax assessments and its impact on individual profit gain is vital for getting financial literacy. And this is actually more applicable to business owners. You're into business and you are not paying tax. Tax, it has different assessment. You have the progressive, don't mind me. But because you are financially educated enough, and you know what you need to do, especially when it comes to tax, and you don't want government to be on your case, you know the amount you are meant to pay, you know the amount that you need to calculate. Maybe you are paying your tax yearly, or maybe it's as you gain your profits, that's how you are paying the tax. Because you are financially educated, you know. And also, I said consciousness of the different personal tax rates helps to guarantee financial dependency and increments in financial performance. So because you are focused on your tax payment, you don't tend to have any government officials being on your neck. And that, it gives you that dependability and increment in your financial performance. Lastly, I talk about individual financial management. That's personal financial management. And this is a major point, a major component of understanding the concept of financial literacy, whereby every individual financial management, varies from budgeting to investment to loan to tax. It comprises of all the 4 points we've mentioned earlier. And however, financial security is guaranteed by adjusting the blend of financial components, having to set and build investments and increase funds while saving, paying off loan, as well as managing debt. So it comprises of all the 4 sectors. On a personal note, you are able to structure yourself from your planning to your saving, to, let's say, you're managing debt or any other bills, to you're paying government taxes. So because you are educated enough, you are able to set a priority on your source of income. You know how to structure this, how to do the breakdown of your income. And this gives you more financial and high financial security, whereby you are able to know this is your structure, this is your plan, avoiding yourself to be under financial pressure. Finally, on a final note, I made some conclusion saying that in accomplish a full insight, and being knowledgeable and having adequate information on the components of financial literacy, it helps and ensure faster expansion towards an individual education, towards an individual financial education. What do I mean by that? Because you are able to acquire more knowledge on how to manage your money, how to manage your finances. It gives you an expansion, a fast expansion towards individual financial education, whereby you are more knowledgeable on how to structure your plan. And this, when you tend to see any problem coming in financially, you know ahead. So it is now your own decision to know maybe you want to jump into it or not. But because you are more educated enough, you know how to control any barrier, any financial pressure, any financial problems that might want to come up later in future. So today we are drawing the curtain for today's session, and next week we'll be talking about strategies on how to improve financial literacy, how to improve your financial literacy, the strategies you can use to improve them. So I want to say thank you so much for joining today's session. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate you, and we hope to see you again, same time, same venue next week. Have a wonderful weekend. My name remains Oluwataye Yanulua Alajumoke. Bye.